Hey everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to Friendship Shaving. I'm just preparing my face with a little bit of pre-shave. I'm using the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Cube today. I've actually got an aggressive razor to use today. You can see it on the window ledge there. It is another razor from Yaqi. It is the Yaqi Knight's Helmet razor, and I've got that on a handle that came from Yaqi's stainless steel handle, but I'm unable to find that on their website as yet. More on that later. The blade I've got in there is a Wilkinson sword blade that I used in last week's video. It will be its fourth use. I'm going to be using the lovely Moka Express again today. I've been really enjoying this brush, so it gets a second showing in the video. And I'm going to be using a sample today of Murphy and McNeil's Kells soap, and I'm just going to take a nice sample of that and pop it into this little bowl that I have here. The bowl was a Christmas present, or part of it, from my good friend Billy, the Brighton shaver, so it's very much appreciated. It is one of these little latex bowls, and I've got the soap just in there. Having broken my sink once already, Billy knows that I'm a bit paranoid about using heavy bowls, so this will get used, believe me. Right, I think we're about ready to load the brush. We'll get it wet. And get this brush loaded with a little bit of soap. I'm not going to bowl lather today, I'm going to face lather, but I'm just going to get some of this soap into my brush. This Kells soap really is a very nicely scented soap. It is a Sauvage tribute soap. And it's named Kells from the Book of Kells, which is a biblical manuscript written by Celtic monks in AD 800, and it is fantastically illustrated. Somehow I imagine all the monks wandering round smelling of Sauvage by Christian Dior. Now there we go, that is my brush loaded. Let me just wipe my hands. And we can get started. Now the soap itself, it's beautiful, really nice soap. It smells, well, it smells of Sauvage, but the notes in the soap, it has top notes of bergamot and ambroxan, which apparently is a brand name for a synthetic ambergris. It has mid notes of geranium and lavender and base notes of vetiver and patchouli, just to give you some idea. It's not a strong smelling soap. It is a medium scented soap, but it is a scent that I like very much. It is not the only Sauvage doppelganger that I have in the den, and I've perhaps given you a clue to the other one, which I will use sooner or later. Now, I have been enjoying this brush. It is absolutely tremendous, and it feels over the last week as if it's actually got a little bit softer. Now, I know that shouldn't happen with a synthetic brush, but it's not that the tips are softer or anything like that. It is that it's, how can you put it, a little less stiff. The fibres are a little less stiff. I know I first said that this brush felt quite big in my hand, and I thought that was due to the hexagonal shape of the handle. But it's become very nice to use, and I'm entirely comfortable with it now. I love it. Right, there we go. I'll just leave it at that. And I can show you the razor in a little bit more detail and tell you a little bit more about it. As I've said, it is an aggressive razor. It is very well made, I must say. It has the holes in the head cap, as you can see, and that makes it very easy to rinse any soap off the blade. There is, maybe you can see in the light, quite a little bit of blade exposure there. And that is coupled with quite a large blade gap. Now that is mitigated slightly by the castellations on the guard bar, but it is a positive blade exposure, and it does have that large blade gap. So it's one to be careful of, I feel. Right, let's get started. Now when I'm using a razor that is aggressive and it has got a large blade gap, this is the area that I need to be careful along my top lip and around my mouth. Not so much going with the grain, but certainly when I go across the grain on my top lip, I have to be really careful there. I could feel the blade just starting to pull a little bit on there because I wasn't stretching that area quite enough. Maybe you can see there and there I have caught myself a couple of times with this razor over the last few days. There is a definite angle to find on this razor, and I've hit it spot on just now. It's quite easy to find the angle. I find it to be quite intuitive myself. There is some blade feel with this razor, but if you come off that angle to more like that, then the blade feel really increases. Oh boy, I'm just loving this brush. Now the head I've got on here is the nickel coloured head. It is in a satin finish. As you can see, it looks very nice indeed. I think it's a smashing looking razor. It also comes in chrome. There is, if I can show you the underside, just by my fingers there is a little bit of advertising. You will know by now that I quite like that. It's really nice and subtle, it's well done and it's well placed. I think you can see that I'm being quite careful with the razor. You might notice there's no blade sticking out the end of the razor there. That's quite nice, I must admit. Now against the grain, do you know, this razor really reminds me of a Mühle R41. Now I don't have the R41 in the den anymore, but I was very wary of using the R41 because I'd read a little bit about it and I knew it was going to be an aggressive razor. I should state that I had the 2013 version of the R41. The 2011 version was an entirely different thing, but I found it to be an effective razor. But there was nothing much to worry about. I had the same feel with this. I was a bit wary of it because I'd read around it, I knew it was an aggressive razor. I'm finding it to be very effective. And I'm not having any problems with it really, apart from just catching myself here and there as I'm getting used to the razor. It's the first week that I've used it. I've shaved with it 4 times. So I feel that there is a little bit of a learning curve with this razor. If you like an aggressive razor, if you like your Mühle R41, you will really like this razor. I'd go so far as to say that. I feel that they are quite a similar shade, although with this having the larger blade gap, I'd say to be a little bit more careful. Now I should state that I don't know what the blade gap is on this razor, nor do I know what it was like on my R41, but I feel like this has a bigger blade gap. And for me, for that reason, it feels a touch more aggressive than my R41, or than I remember my R41 being like. It is a good razor. And the razor head itself, ooh, if I put it there without it falling over, do you know what? I'll put it down like that. The razor head itself is $5 American. I'll put the link in below, but it's nicely finished, even though it's satin. It's very well fitted together. It's really nice. It's a nice razor. For me, it's not something that I could use every day. But if you have a coarse beard or a heavy wiry growth, I think this will be a great razor for you to try. And at $5, I think the postage is $3.50. I would say it's worth a go. Now I've got my Allen block here. You can always tell if I'm using a razor that I think is aggressive because the Allen block comes out. And I've got no real problems there at all. A little bit there, and a little bit just down my cheeks there, and maybe on my chin. Nothing really to worry about. Look at that, I'm so close, my face is squeaky. Unbelievable. Oh, that might be the Allen block though. Now, the Kells soap from Murphy and McNeil reminds me a little of the Future Fiction from PAA. Some of the ingredients are the same, and I think they go together quite well, even though the Future Fiction is not a Sauvage tribute or anything like that. I feel it goes very well with this. By the way, this Star Jelly aftershave, I think is a fantastic product. I really like this. So I'm quite blessed really with this shave. Lots of good products. I'm BBS. No doubt about it. That's a good shave. So, in conclusion, I think the Yaqi Knight's helmet razor head is a nice aggressive razor. If you like such things, you will get on with this. It looks terrific. It gives you a really, really close shave. I think it's a good one. Now, there'll be some things popping up here and one over there. Perhaps you'll subscribe. It's been nice talking to you. I'll see you next time. My name's Mark. You have been watching